afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I am Blake Keller with TV5, and we are coming to you straight from the WNEM TV5 digital studio, and we're doing one of our first podcasts, and our lucky first guest is none other than Thor Rasmussen, Marketing and Creativity Manager at Temple Theater and Saginaw Art Museum. Thor, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, it's wonderful to be up and at it. It's good to be here.
Well, thank you for being our first guest. This is really exciting. You do podcasts, so I'm looking to learn a little bit from you, but not just on the podcast front, also what's happening at the Temple Theater. It's been a little quiet at the Temple Theater across the street from our studios, but there's some things in the works. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, during our mandated closure there, we were able to still generate some content, do virtual things. We had a program called Under the Golden Ceiling, where we invited artists in and recorded them and broadcast them that way. But now that we're able to have people in the theater, we want to have people in the theater. So we have a whole lineup of shows on the books now, and then going to be rolling out some programs as we go. So,
that's exciting. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. It's part of our purpose is to bring people together and entertain and provide unique programming, and we haven't been able to do that in a year. And so to be able to be completing our purpose it feels great.
It sounded like you guys adapted really well, though, when you guys had to go in the dark.
Yeah, that's part of the deal of being an arts organization is adapting, and we saw creativity throughout the community, how people adjusted to things, and so we're proud of that, but certainly looking forward to what's coming up here.
Yeah, well, can you give us some insight on what's on the lineup?
Yes, certainly. So, we've started out with what we call the Saginaw Silver Screen movie series, and coming up for the holiday, we have a couple of special movies. So we're going to start with White Christmas, sort of a Temple Theater tradition, on the 26th, day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we're just announcing right now on your program, maybe a little before your program here, a special movie. And it has to do, I brought some props along. So
all right.
There's 4 food groups, right?
I know where we're going.
There's candy.
Okay.
Now, it's not in season, so the candy corner are out, but
that's
second food group, candy canes.
There's plenty full of those at the stores right now.
and of course, syrup. Now,
Delish.
So for those who don't know, the 4 food groups come from the movie Elf.
Yeah.
And we'll be showing Elf at the Temple Theater on December 19th. So very, very excited to have that movie. But
love it.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to slide some of that down.
I'll give you one at the end. We'll pass those out.
All right. Yeah.
So those are going on. The movies are cool. We're also having some more traditional kinds of programs. We'll be having Swan Lake, about the ballet.
Okay.
That'll be happening in another couple weeks here. A really great opportunity for people, again, to come together and connect with loved ones or friends or neighbors that in the beautiful Temple Theater. I mean, it's gorgeous. And,
absolutely.
So that's going on.
Definitely a gem in downtown Saginaw and in mid-Michigan,
for
sure. And for viewers at home who are watching this and, maybe Elf is right up their alley and they want to go out and support you, how can they support the Temple Theater in more ways than one?
Yeah. So one great way is showing up. Come to a movie, come to a performance. Now is a great season to start getting tickets for loved ones. We recently announced the show Dog Man. It's not going to be until spring, but what an experience to get some tickets for Dog Man and bring some youngsters to the theater and give that as a gift. There's those physical gifts, but I think one thing that we learned during this pandemic is the value of being together, and that closeness that has. So if we can provide a space for that, that's fantastic. Those tangible items are great, but the experience is something that will stay with especially children for a very long time.
Absolutely. And I know down here too, we see that there's this Leopard Lounge, which is sound just intriguing in the name itself.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that one?
Yeah, so a lot of people at the theater, they know about our main auditorium with the high golden ceiling and the big stage and the red seats. We also have a space in the theater that's a little lesser known, and we call it the Leopard Lounge. And as soon as you walk in, you know why it's called the Leopard Lounge. It has this leopard carpet and some leopard decor. They're still sorting out the history of who chose the carpet, but we're going to be starting to host more performances in that space. We're going to start the day before Thanksgiving with a band called Last Night Saved My Life. It's a local group, but up and coming, and so we're excited about sort of clearing the tables and chairs out of that space and having that concert maybe a little bit different than other performances we had, because it is a different sort of room, and we're going to utilize that room a little bit more in the future. We're going to have this show and then working on planning some other things in there.
Nice. Okay, so it sounds like a stacked lineup, and that's super exciting for you guys, especially after a year plus off. And so if anybody's at home interested in finding out information, tickets, where can they generally go?
Yeah, so our website is updated regularly with these new shows and announcements, also through our social channels. Those are also both really fantastic ways to see what's going on. Our mailing list is one way for people to get engaged and receive that information. We're operating a little bit differently now, where before we had sort of an announcement of all the shows happening all at once. We're adjusting to the times and rolling programs and show announcements out on an ongoing basis. So we'll have sort of weekly or bi-monthly announcements about what's coming up in the spring and the season ahead.
Very good. Anything specific you were looking forward to specifically at the Temple Theater?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm most looking forward to is this Dogman performance. As a dad of 4 kids who are love books and love the character of Dogman, it delights me as a father to see my kids delighted, and I'm pretty confident that that's going to happen. There's some other shows in the works that I am not able to talk about quite yet.
That's all right.
Holding the cards a little bit that I think people will be surprised and turn their head and say, the Temple Theater. And so trying to elevate the theater so that the Saginaw community can be proud of what we have here and reinfuse that downtown with new life and be a part of that revitalization.
Yeah, that's great. And it seems like super exciting stuff, but it doesn't stop there.
Yeah, right.
You have many hats.
I do.
I hear you're also the manager at the Saginaw Art Museum. So I hear that we have a new masterpiece that's debuting in the gallery.
Yeah, so the Temple Theater and Saginaw Art Museum are now under one umbrella, one not-for-profit organization. So the museum is part of that. And the museum recently acquired a piece by the Saginaw artist E.I. Kaus. And he's one of the more renowned artists to come out of Saginaw for his time. And so we acquired a portrait of Chief David Shopanagan. And I brought with me a picture of it.
Let's grab it.
All right.
This is exciting. I love art.
So this is the portrait.
Okay.
But imagine this about 10 times this size. This is a copy. This is not the real thing.
Okay.
The real thing didn't fit in my
in your little bag.
Yeah. So, but it's very exciting to have this new gallery open and really have a space for honoring the work that he did. In addition to that portrait, there's 13 other works by Kaus, sort of describing his career and the work that he's done. And just sort of broadly, we're hopeful that it's a way for Saginaw to reconnect with the museum again. This is an exciting time for the museum as well.
Thor, it's great to hear this because, living in Saginaw myself for the past almost 3 years, it kind of loses my mind rather, but it kind of gets away from me that we have so many great events and things to do in our city.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to this. Do you want to expand a little bit on that painting? You said the bigger painting is huge.
Yeah.
Do you know when it was painted?
Yeah, so the painting itself is tall as I am, just about with the frame.
Okay.
And it was originally hung at the Saginaw Club right next door to the Temple Theater, and so it's now been taken down, and it went off to be restored and cleaned and put back into a condition for being displayed at the museum. And so we've now been accepted the responsibility for the painting, and really look forward to having it part of our collection.
I love it. And lastly, before you go, what does it mean to the art museum to have this new gallery?
Yeah, it means a lot. These are paintings that have not been on display together before, and so a real teaching opportunity for people of all ages to come through and put Saginaw on the map, so to speak, in this way.
Very nice. Thor, it was a pleasure having you here this morning and afternoon, and it's great always to hear what's happening in the city of Saginaw.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, of course. And thank you all for joining us on the first edition of our podcast, coming straight to you from the WNEM Digital Studio. Stay tuned for more.